Okay, hello everyone. This is going to be a live stream of doing some open source coding on a platform called Ticktack, which is a peer-to-peer blogging platform built using secure scuttlebutt. And today I'm going to be coding with Andre, who's in Brazil, and he's got a Mumble connection in and will occasionally ask questions or suggest things that could be a better way to build. So, would like to introduce you to the feature that we're building. So we're adding the idea that people can subscribe to different channels. So for example, you might want to know about all new blog posts that are posted under design or under Java or JavaScript or whatever. And part of this feature, which we've had some challenge with, is, it's kind of hard for me to point to it, here we are, is keeping account of how many articles have been posted in this channel, or keeping a track of the other feature we might like to have is, well, how many of my friends are subscribed to design channel. The way that Scuttlebutt is written is that you can stream through the database, but at this point the database is thousands of entries long, and so you can do it, but it'll take time, which will slow the interface down and be confusing for the user. Luckily we have these things called Flume views, and I've done an intro to Flume views, which you can find a link to from the Scuttlebutt guide. So there's a tutorial called FlumeDB. Might be here. So this is a Flume intro, and I think I've got a link. Yeah, so there's code here and a video that you can go and watch. But in general, come and check out this repo. It's a great way to find all of the content that and that others are posting. So without further ado, we're going to jump in. So to do this, we need to make a Scuttlebutt plugin, and inside that there's going to be a new Flume view reduce module. Andre, do you have anything that you want to say to people before we get underway? Or any questions? Okay, so there's a little bit of a lag on questions, so feel free to interject.
No, everything's fine from my side here. There's probably a bit of lag.
Yep, there's some lag. Okay, so I'm gonna start making this new module. It's gonna be a Flume, we're gonna call it Scuttlebutt server channels. So I think that's the I've been using for naming these things. SSB server, I'll change that. Where do we want to create this? We'll worry about the Git side of it later. Okay, so the first job we have is to plug this new plugin into our Scuttlerbot that we're running inside of. So what that's going to look like is we just add a new line here. So that's going to break immediately. So let's go link so that's now created a symlink so that it'll pull code from here when it's starting this process up. So now I need to think about what default secure Scuttlebutt plugin requires. So I don't think I can remember this very well. Maybe you can help me out, Andre, here.
Well, I never built one of those modules, so I'm a bit lost, but shouldn't you have selected like depject as a dependency?
No, this is not at the level of depject. So we are, maybe I'll go jump and look at a basic module that I started building. That'll actually be a nice reference for me. Yeah, okay, so I'll talk about this. So this is separate to the Flume view thing, but this is a Scuttlebutt plugin, or an SSB server plugin, and every one of these plugins has to have these 4 properties. Place. I think that's what we want to call it. Oh, maybe. I'm just going to actually check against. We can look at the other packages, plugins that are already in here. So looks like that. Seeing that. So sorry to typing in and autos. The manifest tells us about tells the Scuttlebutt what are the methods that this new channels plugin is going to afford. So for example, when we call it, we're going to end up calling it like this: spot.channels.get. And it knows that get is available as a function and that it's an asynchronous function because we've declared that it's going to be there in the manifest. The reason we have to have this manifest is because a Scuttlebutt server runs here, and then often we have a client, which is like the front end, which is communicating to it, and it's communicating over something called Nux RPC, and it's doing these remote calls. And so the manifest's a really important part of that, which is like, what is the client allowed to call on the remote, sorry, on the Scuttlebutt server. So the next thing we need is an init function. And this takes a copy of the server and the server config. And ultimately, this is expected to return those methods. So stream, yeah, should be what this returns. Do some stuff in here. Any questions about that?
Not yet. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is make some dummy functions which just provide the things that I say that they're going to provide. So that we can just check that we've plugged this in right. Stream one is a little bit slipperier to sort of mock out, so I'm just going to do the mock out the async one. Cool. So I want to test this in my setup. So where are we going to do this? Added this new plugin. Let us maybe on app like when the app is initialized, the like main view. Let's do that as the first thing. So we haven't said we want the S-bot. So we need to, this is where we're into the like depth check neighborhood where we're trying to get a copy of the S-bot. I think S-bot ops.connect gives us what that we can test things on. This is where I would jump to looking at patch cause documentation. By documentation I mean source code. Connection. So as long as
yeah, you mean source code, right?
Yeah, I mean source code, yeah. So I often have to remind myself of how this is used, so if there's a nicer way to do this, I'm just going to use no, that's look at patchwork. Let's look at Ticktack's code because I've used it somewhere, but I can't quite remember. Okay, so that's one way of using it. Once true is this mutant thing, which like checks the thing. We'll just steal that code. Ideally we might have another testing set up, but I need mutants true. And that, once that's true, give us I'm passing in a callback. Maybe let's.
And so far, that's just boilerplate for connecting them both, right?
Yeah, this is right. Yeah. That's because I'm just hacking the testing of it at the starting of the app. Just give us something to play. Oh, we don't need to. I think. Okay, so I'll just run over what we did again. I have put something which will give us a direct connection to the SBot because we need to reach through from the app to, for the moment, to get the channels view stuff. We would ideally replace this with something else that's nice and depth checked a little bit later, or in patch core maybe. So this is a connection. This waits to see when the SBot is connected from the front end, and when it is, it gives us a copy of that SBot on which we will be able to call the channels, which is the name of our plugin, and on that the get method. And get method is made available because we've declared it in our manifest. Get method turned from the init here. So at the moment it just does nothing fancy at all. So now we go and try and run it. I'm going to close. Server started again, and we've got a problem already. Unexpected token. Version. Okay. Interesting. Nothing yet.
Maybe it's never true.
Yeah, it's possible. Which is confusing. Why would that be the case? Embarrassing.
What about trying to log the plugin init function?
About trying to do what, sorry? Hi, Jake. So you think do some different logging in here?
Log the plugin init function. There is a massive lag between us both. I was not actually saying inside the get function, but in init itself to know that the plugin is being loaded.
Good call. Checking that I'm not running some silly script. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I saw it running there. We saw the plugin being loaded. I'd have a look at some.
Get is a reserved word, isn't it?
Is it? I would have thought my syntax highlighting would have shown that up. Really annoying. Let's go look at backlinks, how that works. Also using connection, maybe. Spot.pull. Reconnect thing, but I think that keeps the connection alive. If it connection is I can do something gross reliable. This returns an observable, and then that would be.
Quick question, maybe I'm wrong, but does once true receive the invocation of connection or the connection observable?
It receives the, so once true receives the spot.obs.connection should return an observable as opposed to the actual value. So that's what I'm doing on this line here, is checking that. That will resolve the observable into the actual value of the spot. This is relying on the fact that its connection has been filled with the spot, and so this could be something that breaks everything here, but we'll have a look. Yep, so that's not a function. Here we can go another way. Because this is an observable, this is kind of gross, but we can put a listener in here. So whenever that changes, it will run this function inside. This is kind of just a different way of doing the once true. Okay, that's not a function. Really confused. My assumption is the connection is an observable. It's this value, and because it's returning that, maybe let's put a debugger in here. Currently got null in it. Okay, so maybe this thing behaves. Okay, so it's using a slightly different pattern, so yeah, you were right, sorry, Andre. I've been using this wrong. Panels, dogs. Ugh. Sorry, that was a very roundabout thing. So this once true should work. It's just gotta not get in there. Right. Okay. Okay, so recap of what was wrong there was that spot.obs.connection is a function that's this doesn't return. This is not. I don't know how to talk about it very well. Apparently that is an observable and we don't need to call it. I think it's a little bit confusing because it's this mutant case. Normally you would have to call something with depject for it to be able to go through and get the first one out, but I think the once true is taking care of that by binding itself or something to that observable, binding itself to something in there. But all of that is kind of not what I wanted this to be. It's about focusing on this plugin thing. So what we want to do now is start putting some sensible things inside here. So what I'm going to do is actually just steal a bunch of this code. So what we want to do is build ourselves a Flume view reduce that's going to go in here. A Flume view automatically makes a a get method and a stream method. We're going to end up doing this. And a Flume view or Flume view reduce is a function which takes a few arguments. Let's look at what they are. The version number is the first argument. A reducer function is the second argument, and a map is an optional third argument. Here's the documentation here. So the version is used for whenever you make a breaking change to your view and you want it to be updated. You would increment this number here and it will tell clients to rebuild the view by scanning through the whole log. Map gets run next if it's there. It takes messages that are coming in and will map them. So you might want to just pluck out a particular part of the message data. And reduce is the function that is given the accumulator state of the view and the new mapped value, and it's a function which combines those like a reducer. And there's this initial state which is useful as well. So this is the bit where it would be good to have some input from you, Andre, about what you think the format of our state should be.
Well, if we are going to use a map to change whatever we are receiving into the state we need, if I got it correctly, because this is new to me as well, we are looking for the channel messages with following equals true. Those are the message that says that it's subscribing to a
So let's just write a reference of what that message looks like.
They have type channel. They contain a channel name. Yeah, it looks exactly like that. It has the channel name, such as SSBC Learning there. It's a string. And also they contain another entry, it's following. That might be true or false, depending if the user is subscribing or unsubscribing.
Cool. And I can't remember if it contains a hash, but I don't this or not, but I don't think that matters. And inside this, so this is inside the value of the message. And the keys that we're going to care about are the author, and this is like a feed ID. And this is going to be inside the content.
It doesn't contain the hash.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the messages coming through are going to look a little bit like this. And so the initial state that we're going to set up, how do we want to store things in our view? I was thinking that the stored form should be something like notice I'm kind of doing documentation driven development. So the state is gonna, we should put this in the README a little bit later. So I'd imagine that there'd be like channel for the key.
Can we have an object where each key is a channel?
Great.
And the inside the channel we have like an array of feed IDs.
Okay, so we could have an array of feed IDs. And those are the people currently following it. We care about when they followed it? Not really right now. We can change that later. Okay, so like, let's make a concrete example of this to make the documentation really clear. So there'd be a key like SSB learning, and in there would be at whatever my address is, and this, I'm just going to make it up. And there'll be another key like will say, and Andre's in that one. So stuff's going to look like this. Okay, so our initial state actually doesn't need anything in it. So the next thing we're going to do is, given a message of this form, what content do we need to get out of it? So we're going to write the map function, and it takes a message. And I think the first thing that we're going to do is check if it's a message that we care about. So this is where I want to use get Lodash. Some of these messages are encrypted, which means we won't be able to see the content. Sorry, what I was meaning to say was we're going to do, I want to do message.value.content.type and check whether that's channel type message. But we can't do that in the instance of, that this content is encrypted, and encrypted messages will be coming through here. So instead I'm going to use get Lodash. Lets us do this, and it won't break if we can't get into that. If it's not an object we can just drill into like that. And I'm going to return null at this step, and I think that's because there's an affordance which is like if you provide a map. The reduce only gets called on things. Map is optional. If the map is applied, then each item in the log passed to map, and then if returned value is not null, it's passed on to the reduce. So this is a way of kind of doing a filter sneakily inside the map. So if it's not channel, I just noticed, Andre, that this is going to filter all messages and count them. It's going to filter posts as well. So, sorry, this is subscribes. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Yep, ignore what I was saying. I was thinking about blogs and posts. Okay, so we want to return. What do we want to return? only really care about some parts of this message. We want to get out the author. And we want to get out whether they're following or not. And the channel.
We might want to return the inverse of the state we want, which is an object with the user ID as the key and an array of channels. And then on the reduce we can invert that.
I didn't quite understand that. Can you say that again? Sorry.
I'm assuming that we'll have a reduce function that will receive everything at the end. And I was thinking about like an intermediary format between what we are getting from the map and what we want.
Yeah, so what do you suggest can you be more explicit about what you want me to code?
Actually, I think I might be being a bit naive because I'm new to this Flume view reduce, and the way you're doing might be easier. So I should, I think, just follow right now instead of trying to meddle there.
Okay. The question with the following thing is whether following is following always a boolean, and like if you initially follow something, I'll just check it. Like, does it default to true or? Hold on a second. Yeah, Alana? Lunch would be great in a bit. Okay. Thank you. I think I might pause and yeah, let's just output some stuff if there's a malformed follow. So if I've made any wrong assumptions about how these messages are coming through, hopefully I'll see them come through here. So this is our map, and then our reduce is so far.
Actually, there are malformed follows from me. I made some mistakes in my feed.
That's great. We need to account for that when we're dealing with this sort of database, because anyone can publish anything, which is why I've got this defense of like just throw them out if they don't have the things that we need for this particular calculation. So so far, so new item is going to have all of these things on it, channel, author, and whether they're following. I'm kind of wondering about the state here in terms of something that's going to make it easy. New subscription. Make it easy for me to edit here. I'm just trying to be lazy. Because I'm going to have to go in, like if following is false, I'm going to have to go in and delete thing. And I'm not what the best way of doing that is, but let's just, so if following, I think there's a Lodash set which can do this really easily, hopefully.
Why don't you remove the false followings on the map?
Because I need to, false is important because like if somebody unsubscribes, I need to change the state, like wipe part of the state which says, oh, you know, Andre has accidentally followed this. I actually want to remove him because he was previously in there. If following, then I want to set.
Oh yeah, makes sense, sorry.
I don't want to set, I want to push, don't know, damn. If there's not a so far channel, so far channel array,
I think that you want to get on the channel key, and then you want to push, and maybe instead of an array, we might want to use a set.
yeah, that could be a good idea. So yeah, I think a set's a great idea because we don't just want to push in because there's a chance that a person could publish multiple subscribes. We don't want multiples of a person. So
Oh, but I don't know if Node.js has set.
I think it does. We're about to find out. We can find out like this. Start a node REPL and then be like, do I have to do new? Yeah. And what are the set methods? Yes dot add be learning S dot. How do we get the content out of it? S dot. I don't suppose there's size. That's probably, this is not a function. Interesting. S dot entries
values.
Makes an iterator. Interesting.
There is a massive lag.
Is there an easy way to turn this into an array? Just for, I mean, I'm sure there is, but I don't know what it is. Ah, done. Okay, so yeah.
You can destruct a set into an array using the destructor operator as well.
I'll try that. Cool, that's really lovely. Okay, so I'm fully convinced. So we want to get, go get the channel, and if it doesn't exist, so get is really nice. It lets you get a default thing if there's nothing in there, in the thing. So we're going so far.channel, and then we want to go channel.add author. Oh, that was premature. I wanted to check how to delete. Cool. I presume it will not error if there's not that entry in there. Cool. So if it's following, add it, otherwise don't. And then do I need, I guess I need to go so far channel. Like that value? Not sure. And then return. Oh. Okay. Almost everything we need. We just need to double check this logic here. I think there's a Flume view use thing.
I think there is some confusion there with the capital channel and the other channels. Like we have so many things with the same name.
Where's the confusion? If you could tell me the line number, that would help.
If you can scroll down, it's in the reduce.
Ah, I see. Capitalization problem. So I want to cover over what I've done here. This is a Flume view. Maybe I should.
And also, you're destructing new sub into channel, and then you're doing a const channel. You get the reference from the first channel.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's a good point about the channels colliding. So this should be like the channel subscribers. So going over what this is doing, this Flume view, this is creating a Flume view, which is a function which you would normally hand to a Flume DB. This is it's a closure that will install all of these reducers and maps in initial state, but it doesn't do anything by itself. You have to put it and give it to a database. This here is a convenience method inside SBot, which I don't want to go into right now, but basically it says here's where we'd like to register the this view, this Flume view, and access it, and here is the view all prepared, the Flume view reduce all configured and prepared to attach to the database, as in please run this and run all of the messages that you get through it. So there's this neat trick that you can do, which is just log out when something comes through this view. And if you've done development, you might have seen the sort of plus signs flying by. So chuck one of those in there. So what's the channel one? We'll call it C. And then let's try switching this on. One module Flume view reduce. Okay, here goes the view. So we've got all these malformed messages coming through. It's kind of hard to read them. I think I've done something wrong with my map. I'm just going to kill that, and we are going to need to start again. So malformed. Why is it malformed? It's got channel decent, subscribe true. This looks like we've made a...
No, the key is not following. The key appears to be subscribed.
Okay, great. So now we need to update the version of our Flume view. I think make a constant up here. Because if we just reloaded the code right now, it would kick off from where it got up to, but now be using a different reducer. Changing that number will tell it to start at the start again. So I can just tweak this number whenever we want it to start again. It's loading a little bit slowly, particularly because I'm streaming. So far as not defined. I think I've got some like capitalization issues, which is and we need this. Okay, so we're seeing a bunch of C's, but we're also seeing a bunch that are ostensibly malformed. I'm just going to kill it and see what the problem is. What is malformed about that? Did I say subscribe or instead of subscribed? Oh, because I'm using booleans and one of these is a boolean. Yeah, I wonder what Lodash is empty would do. I should probably compare with undefined, I guess. What does is empty do with false? That's what I want to know. No, it's not going to is. Yeah, I think what we want. Yeah, pop quiz does false compared with undefined. type of. A grumpy zebra in the background. Ugh. Yep, I'm still streaming. I think I'm just about done. Maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Will lodash get actually return undefined?
Yeah, I think that's the way that get works, but it's a good point. We should check it. Oh no. See. So these are all the channel messages that it's hitting that are getting past the map, so they're in the reduce. A lot of subscriptions. Here we go. Here's our channels data. Oh. These not have quite what we want in them yet. Oh, maybe because they're sets. Damn. Well, I think at the least we have. Look, there's an eggplant channel. That's Ben. Thanks, Ben. There's also a peach channel. That's Eric Peach. Yeah, so I think we've got all of the working parts. So what I'm going to do is publish the code and go and tend to my screaming child. And I will leave Andre to sort out some of the details. My next moves would be like this get method is maybe not perfect. Maybe we would like to offer a couple of other convenience methods on here, such as count, and that could take a channel and then do a calculation based on that. You might want to, yeah. So that could be a synchronous method or an asynchronous method. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, if you've been watching, thanks for watching along. I'm going to post this up